So first, we just like to take a minute to say thank you to everybody. Tepe and I are sitting here in our ShareFile headquarters in Raleigh, but we want to appreciate everyone here for taking the time to learn about best practices to stay secure. So let's dive in. First, let's just take a minute to talk about some potential risks. So these are things you can tell your share friends and your peers about why we need to start taking these precautionary measures. Data exposure. So when you share documents with public links, they're really, as the name suggests, it's public, it's accessible to anyone, maybe not just the intended audience. This can lead to unintentional data exposure where sensitive information might end up in the wrong hands. For example, unintentional sharing, maybe a link was distributed via an email chain. Accidental sharing could be shared by anyone. You may inadvertently share this with the unintended recipient. Data scraping is something to be aware of. Search engines often index public links, making them a target for web scraping tools. Malicious actors can use these tools to look at the web for public documents that may contain sensitive information. So that's why it's really important to make sure you're authenticating, having your users and your recipients authenticate to view sensitive information. Lack of control and access to bad actors. So again, when you share these documents via public links, you relinquish control to whoever can access it. So let's dive a little bit more into some top tips, and then from here, Tepe will go into a demo. So the first we have here is now within ShareFile, we've recently released our default link sharing will default to allowing the recipient to log in to view the content. So this really is a security layer to really ensure that the intended recipient receives the link and that your information is secure. You can still select in the dropdown different methods for how the person would like to view, either require them to log in or just share a link that can be viewed by anyone. So links created in this format enable the viewer to see the information without logging in. So this is the anonymous view selection here. So selecting anyone public is providing just the information. They can review it without logging in. Selecting the anyone public, enter name and email enables anyone with the link to enter the name and email into the text field without logging in to view this content. So this one sometimes gets confusing because the act of adding the email and the name is simply recording the person's entry into viewing that file. If you require the person to actually log in to view the file, we ask that you use the client and employee user login to view files. So just something to think about is the different ways that the people can actually log in or not log in to view your content. Right. Another tip here we have is setting shorter link expiration dates. So you do have the ability to set the duration for how long that link is live. So something quick that you might want, maybe something very sensitive, setting that to maybe 1 week. This link is only live for 1 week. After that week, if the person clicks on that link, they will see that it's no longer active. Another option you have is if it's just a document that you want for a longer period of time and it's sensitive, maybe add that to a folder so you give the person access to the folder versus a link that's just out there exposed for a long time. And Tepe will go into a little bit more deeper dive on this here. Another quick tip, encrypting email content. So within ShareFile, the links themselves, yes, they are secure. We do have an additional step you can do to actually encrypt the body of the email. So what this means is when you send to specific people from within ShareFile, the body of the email is encrypted, and you're not able to view that until you open your email, you click on the link, and it opens up to view the actual content. So just another layer of security, depending on how sensitive the information is that you're sharing. And then some other best practices for sharing files. We do recommend adding client users to actually create the account. As I mentioned before, if you require them to log in, they should have an account, as well as different folder permissions for viewing or downloading of those files. So now I'm going to pass it over to Tepe, so he's going to show a demo of the things I just mentioned.
I have my ShareFile account here. And first thing I wanted to show you is how to create client users. So there's three primary ways to make client users. The first one is manually creating them. So under the people section, you can go into browse clients And then from here, I can add them. So I'm gonna add Laura. Okay, and then you could assign them folders or to like certain distribution groups from here. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and create. Let's see, let me just make sure okay, I already had this user, so let me just go ahead and delete real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna add Laura here again. Create. I'm not going to assign right now. And then in the welcome email, I could just give her some kind of custom email here, but I'm just gonna set the default there. And then now Laura's gonna get an email here to activate the ShareFile account. Another way to add users into ShareFile is I went into a specific folder and I could create the user specifically from here. So when I hit add people to folder, you'll see the option create new user. So here I could fill in the email address, first name, last name, and then send out a welcome email directly from the folder. Another way you can add users to your ShareFile account, which is not really a recommended way, is using the anonymous links that Laura was talking about earlier. So when you're in the dashboard and you do, for example, you send a file and let's just, so when you create a ShareFile link and you do get a link option and you select, all right, I have it enabled because of security reasons. I have it enabled where login is required. But in this dropdown, you have two other options. You have anonymous, which is just anyone can access the link. And then another one is another anonymous option, but they have to put in a name and email address. So whenever you use that name and email address option, it will automatically create a client user for them, right? Now they're not logging in, but they're still going to create a ShareFile user account. So that's the three ways that a ShareFile user could be added to your account. There is a fourth way that's not as common, which is to go into a folder and then you do a folder invite. So a folder invite link allows you to distribute contents within a ShareFile folder with just like, for example, a view option or an upload permission and be automatically added to your ShareFile account with a username and password. Now, you're not sending this out to a specific person. So just be cautious about, what content you're sharing here. All right. And then the next topic I wanted to talk about is setting security requirements for those users, those third-party external users. You want to be secure about the passwords requirements and such. So under your admin settings and under the security tab, you have password requirements. Now we've set a bare minimum of 8 characters, one number and one special character, but I would highly recommend you just review these and just at least do 10 to 12 characters is my recommendation, and then set some kind of password expiration there as well. Now, one more setting I do want to talk about is that the login requirement that is available here. So here you can disable those anyone or anonymous access links by enabling login for all download links, as well as upload links as well. But uploads, it's not as much of a security concern there. Okay, so next demo is going to be the folder permissions. So as I showed you earlier, if you wanted to add users to a folder, you can go into the people section here and you can add specific users. So I could search for Laura and then select the appropriate folder permission for just her. I can notify the user. I can also make sure that the permissions are applied down to any subfolders that exist in there. So I'm going to go ahead and add her in here. And that's how easy it is to add users to a folder. Okay, now let's go in and see what it looks like on the other user side. So on the clients, what does it look like to get added to a ShareFile account? So here I have basically Laura's email address because I broke into her account or something. But so I've got this invite here, shows me that I've been added to this ShareFile account. I'm going to go ahead and activate the account and ask me to confirm my name and then set a password. Now, if you notice, we didn't have two-factor enabled for the account because we just have it disabled for this particular demo. But I will show you that here in a minute. But there you go. Now you see that the reports folder that I gave Laura access to is here. And because I only gave her upload permission, I can't see any of the content in there. And I only have the permission to upload it here, right? Okay, so before we move any further, I did want to go back and just kind of show you where to set that two-factor authentication requirement. So again, in the admin settings, under security, login and security policy, there is an option to enable two-step verification for both your employee users and your client users. So if you enable this for both like this, it's going to require everyone on the account to set up two-factor authentication. If you have single sign-on enabled on your ShareFile account, I would just disable it for your employee users and then or still leave it on just for maybe for the admins, but it's not as much of a requirement since you can enable two-factor through your IDP. Client users, I strongly recommend that you enable two-factor authentication. All right, so another point I wanted to talk about was reviewing activity on the ShareFile account. So you can run reports in your ShareFile account by going under company account info and reporting tools. Now I've created a few recurring reports in here. And to do that, you just hit create report and select whatever report you want to run. So for example, the access report. And you can set it to specific users, specific folders, or the entire account. And then how frequently the report is being run and a location for where the report's going to be stored, right? Now, I've already done this, so let me show you what that looks like. So under my favorites, I've got the reports folder here saved. And I've got both the access report and the access change report. So the access change report is going to show me whenever permissions have been removed or added within the account, like so. And then the access report is going to show me who has access to what on the ShareFile account by folder, right? And then if we go back and go into these two reports is going to be the share reports and the request reports. So these are for any links, individual links I've generated within the ShareFile account. So if I look at the share report, I can see how many download links I have created in the past month or so. And because this is demo account, we don't have too many. And so I see that Ricardo created a download link here. So what I can do to check Ricardo's activity and disable any kind of links that he might have generated, I can go into the people section, go to browse employee, I could search for Ricardo, and then on the right hand side, you'll see view folders and activity logs. And then you'll have to hit access users content. Now you'll need to have admin permission to view this. But then from here, you can see their personal content, their file box, send messages, or recycle bin. So if I go into the sent messages, I can see all the links that Ricardo has created in his ShareFile account. I could select the specific links and then I can expire the links.
The next thing to mention is our new security alerts feature. So this just came out recently in the past quarter. So just a high level overview, and then Tepe will give a demo here. So the current alerts that we have are things when there's risk to someone externally or internally, maybe a bad actor coming, trying to get access to your information. So things like malware upload, someone logged in from a suspicious location, someone logged in from an unknown device, unusual authentication failures are things that get sent out. And then the employee and the IT admin has the ability to take action. The real value here is that enabling employees with these features, they are the ones that may have that personal relationship with that external client, that vendor. You're here in Raleigh, someone tried to log in 5 times in another country. I just talked to you on the phone today. I know you're here in Raleigh with me. Let's start to investigate this and see what's going on. So yes, the system does it on the back end, but having the employee or the IT admin have that access since you know and have a relationship with your client. So we have an example here of an email, and Tepe will show. But then on the next slide, we show a dashboard that has worst case scenario. If a bad actor is trying to crawl the internet, they've gotten your password. Here's every possible scenario that could happen. We fake this in a fake environment here. But this is what it would look like if you clicked in from that email to that user's dashboard to see all those security alerts that came out. And then here's any possible situation: disabling access, deleting the account. You can log the user out, resetting their two-step verification. If this is an employee user and you shared folder access with someone, you can immediately review that folder activity log, change permissions to view only if you don't think it's that crazy, remove people from folders, or just remove the file from the folder completely. So within here, you're able to do a click down and see that information. So you can go in at any time when you're browsing the user to go in and actually see the activity and security alerts. But again, directly from that email alert that you get sent, you can click and it directs you right here to this screen.
I have here a email alerting me that I've logged in from Mountain View. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina, so this obviously is not me. So what I can do is I can go in and change my password, but I can also go into my ShareFile account here. And if I go on to browse employee and go into my user account, I can review my activity and security alerts. And there it is. There's that Mountain View login that looks suspicious. Now I can go in here and view my folder activity. The past 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days if you need to. But yeah, and then it shows you the activity here. Now on the right hand side, I don't have any of those controls here because first I'm the master admin on the account and I can't really disable myself. So you're just not seeing those controls there. Typically, the way I would recommend you use ShareFile email encryption is to use our Outlook plugin. So when you use our Outlook plugin, there's a toggle on and off switch that you can use to make an email that you're typing out a ShareFile encrypted email. But if you're going through the website and you wanted to create a encrypted email, you can go into your inbox and you can do compose. And then from here, you can see that the email is encrypted. And you can, because you're going through the ShareFile web application, this is going to be always enabled. And then from here, all you have to do is type out, for example, Laura again, and then send out a email.
If the recipient has a separate ShareFile account within their company, and I have my own ShareFile account, do I need to make them a client in my own system?
Yes, you do. So just because they have a ShareFile account in a separate tenant, a ShareFile tenant, does not mean that they have access to your ShareFile tenant. So they will need to be created within your ShareFile account. I see if you disable a user, is the user sent any notification? And the answer is no. If you disable a user in ShareFile, we do not send them a notification. That is a security measure. Basically, their ShareFile user account is being disabled. You're also inadvertently telling them they do have a ShareFile account. So yeah, that's a security concerns.
So Tepe, why do we usually recommend Outlook plugin for encrypted emails? Is it the ease of use, or is it because it's more secure?
One is, again, the ease of use. And then the second is it's going through your Exchange servers, right? So any emails that you send through your Outlook plugin is going through your Exchange servers, and you have a copy there, right? But you also have it in your ShareFile encrypted emails as well too, right?
So this is something that's already live. This is for ShareFile Advanced and Premium customers. So if you're on ShareFile Standard, you will not have access to this. But and this is for admins as well as employee users, will be able to see this feature on ShareFile Advanced and Premium. If you click on a person's name and then you go to the activity and security alerts, if there's any alerts that have happened, you will see this here. If not, you do have the option to view folder activity. So this is essentially a log that the user can go in. This person has no activity. We have some fake accounts just for this demo purposes, but you can go in and see without having to go to your admin and request a report of what's going on in this folder. Yep. So again, those alerts are automatically turned on. The admin on the account has the ability to control the alerts that get sent out. So client users, employee users, and admins get different types of alerts. So at the start, they're all turned on, but again, the admin has the ability to turn these off as they see fit. And then our documentation page, which we can send out as part of this, has a full list of what all the other what these alerts look like and what situations trigger the alerts. Another question we have, if someone has sent documents and it does not ask them to create an account, it just takes them to the sign-in page. So I guess what are the situations where people will get a link to view the document and it does not ask them to create an account?
It's because they already have an existing account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or they also was sent the public the public document just requires a email and name, does not require an account to log in. Another one about link sharing, sending a link to someone who is not a client, and then you select the anonymous link to enter the name and email. Does this create a client user? But does it send an email to create a password for the user as well?
It does not. So it does not send them an email to set up a ShareFile account, but it does add them to your ShareFile account as a client.
If you did want to create them as a user, you could go into that person's name and then send an activation
Yes,
email automatically,
yeah,
manually, I guess.
right. So let me show you that real quick, just so you guys are aware. If I go into Greg here and he's never logged in and want to make sure he has the login information, I have this email login option and to send him the welcome email.
So thank you again for everyone for having the time here today for us going through all these features. One thing to also call out on our resources section, we have a blog. We recently posted 2 blogs. One was best practices for staying secure, things you can share with your teammates, and also reasons to go back to your team of why you need to be diligent with these things. And then also protect what matters most during busy season. This is kind of a hub blog that links off to a lot of the doc pages for what we covered today. We tried to cater today's conversation around this page. So again, 2 resources for you. And we will also send out this presentation as well as links to some of the frequently asked questions. So thank you again for your time and have a great day.